Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at etrailer, and today we'll be taking a look at this Inno Roof Rack system with the 51-inch long crossbars and the Inno Through Feet for the raised rails on your 2018 Nissan Rogue. So you got your Nissan Rogue and you're ready for adventure. You gotta admit, it's a cool looking vehicle. But sometimes for your different adventures, you need different things. So what if you wanna carry a roof box or roof baskets or kayaks or even roof mounted bike racks? What you then need is a roof rack system just like this. So this is the Inno Roof Rack system, which has longer crossbars. These are 51 inches long, and the through feet that should attach to the raised rails on your Rogue. So a quick comparison of this crossbar system versus the other crossbar systems for your Nissan Rogue is this is the Inno version, and I personally prefer them just because they look really good, especially with our trim here. The silver accents on the end of the crossbars match well with the silver trim of the Rogue. But other than that, this is going to be the wider version from Inno. So you're going to have a little bit more overhang on this one compared to others. So compared to flush feet, where you have a more low profile or closer to the inside of your roof, this is going to give you more space. Great for those accessories that require overhang, like kayak load assist carriers. So let's talk about overhang, and that's going to be measured from the end of your towers to right before your end cap. Here in the back, we have it at 3¼ inches. For our front crossbars, it's going to be about 3 inches, so it does depend on where you measure. Overhang is important for if you want to maximize having a roof rack. I prefer having as much overhang as possible because then you can clamp things to the outside. It's easier to reach. But also, if you use a kayak load assist carrier like the Thule Elevator or the Yakima Showdown, those require a specific length of overhang since it comes down. This actually is not enough, so you may need some longer crossbars if you want those specific carriers. So let's talk about roof clearances. So if you have this Nissan Rogue with that glass roof, you'll wonder, how much space do I have for my accessories before scratching up my roof? So measuring from the top of the roof to the bottom of the crossbar, we have it at 2¼ inches, which isn't that much, honestly. So if you have items that clamp around your crossbars, they use the U-bolts with the wing nuts, you're gonna be very conscious of how much space you have there. That's when I recommend taking advantage of the T-tracks on top, because then they clamp on top of the crossbar and you don't have anything underneath. Now for the height this adds to the top of our roof. Measuring from the top of our roof to the top of the crossbar, it sits at 3½ inches. That's where your cargo and your accessories are going to sit. So if you're carrying, let's say, skis and snowboards, that also isn't a lot. So it's nice because it's low profile, it looks classy. But then if you have extra thick bindings, you're gonna wanna make sure you get the ski and snowboard carriers that have the lift. I think the Yakima Fat Cat Evo has that. And then they sit higher up and you're less likely to hit your roof. Let's talk about the crossbars themselves. So we have these very nice, sleek aluminum crossbars with a black powder coat finish. They do have a weight capacity of 165 pounds. But just note, when talking about weight capacity, so remember to add up your cargo, add up your accessories, add up your roof rack system, and make sure that total does not exceed your actual roof weight capacity. These are also going to be Aero Crossbars, which means they're a bit more aerodynamic than your round and square crossbars. That way the wind flows and you have less wind drag and less wind noise compared to those crossbars. Now let's take a look at crossbar length. So your usable crossbar length is going to be 51 inches, but that's only if you use a T-track accessories. The crossbar length for your clamps on the inside is going to be from one tower to the other tower, 33¼ inches. So that's another reason why I highly recommend using T-track accessories, because then you can use all of the crossbar. Like for example, for our raised rails here, they're 39 inches apart from edge to edge. And you want to make sure, if you are getting a roof rack system, to make it the most out of it. So earlier I mentioned the end caps as stylish, but they're also helpful because they cover your T-track system. So if you pop pop the end caps off of their clips. Unfortunately, these do not lock. So you can then insert your T-Track accessories. The really cool thing about Inno is all you need to do is push down on that rubber seal, slide the accessory through, and it adjusts around it. So compared to Thule, where it splits apart and tends to come off because it's thermoplastic, and compared to Rhino-Rack, where you have to cut up the Vortex strips, this one, you leave it, forget about it, you're good to go. Speaking of end caps, you also have the tower end caps. So you get 2 keys. They are the exact same key. They access all 4 tower end caps. Take that out, and now you can install or uninstall your towers. So speaking of the install process, Inno gives you pretty much everything you need to tighten this down. You don't need extra wrenches, you don't need extra tools. You just have this lever, you have your keys included. So let's take a look at that super easy process. The install process is going to be super simple because you have raised rails. So you just need your crossbars and you need your towers. Then you also have your end caps for your towers and your end caps for the crossbars. The only thing not included with this kit, but I recommend adding on, is going to be some tape measure just to make sure you get all your measurements right. So I'll show you how to put the crossbars and the towers together. So inside your crossbar, you're gonna line it up so that your tray is on or towards the center. So just push this through. You're gonna have a button here, press that button and continue to push it through until this panel is open. That lines up with the inside of your tower with those tabs. So with the strap facing out, you're gonna pop this in, slide it, and just like that, it's attached. And with both towers on your crossbar, you're ready to put this onto your roof. So you want to make sure that you have the tall portion facing the front of your roof and the tapered portion facing the back. I'm going to have a friend, Lucky, on the other side. He's going to grab the other end as we get it gently onto our raised rails. Since you have raised rails, you can kind of pick pretty much wherever you want your crossbars. I just kind of center them in the center of our fixed mounting points. And then you're gonna measure for overhang. So here, we're gonna have about 3 inches from the end of the tower to the end of the end, right before the end cap. And once you have that on each side, just tighten it down with this lever. So with everything tightened down, all 4 towers look good and secure. You then put the end caps on the towers, lock them with your included keys. Then you have the end caps for your crossbars. Those just pop into place. Give a little pat there. And then with all 4 end caps on your towers and your crossbars good, then you are good to load this up and hit the road. So my personal thoughts about this Inno Roof Rack system is I would definitely recommend going with these. Now, some people don't like extra long crossbars because when they have shorter vehicles, they're worried about hitting their heads as they walk into their vehicle. As you can see with the Rogue, it probably is not going to be an issue. That way, you can get longer crossbars, still looks good on the Rogue, and you can maximize your space. So probably going to be one of my favorite roof rack systems for your Nissan Rogue, but hopefully this video helped you out with understanding the differences between this roof rack system and other roof rack systems. That way you can get the best fit for you and your different types of adventures and your vehicle. And that was a look right here at our Inno Roof Rack system with the 51-inch long Aero Crossbars and the Through Feet for your raised rails on your 2018 Nissan Rogue.